Now we are going to talk about unemployment. Let's assume that total population of any country is classified into two main groups: working age group and others. Working age group are people from 16 to 64 who are not in jail, hospital, or any other institution. Others, people less than 16 or greater than 64. We are concerned with working age group. Working age group is classified into two main groups: people in the labor force and not in the labor force. Labor force is classified into employed and unemployed people. Not in the labor force are people from 16 to 64 who are not employed and are not counted as unemployed. So who is going to be counted as unemployed? Unemployed people are to be counted as unemployed, a person must be without work but made an effort to find a job. Within the last 4 weeks. So if you are without work but you are not seeking a job, you are not doing an effort to find a job, so you are not going to be counted as unemployed. In this case, you are going to be counted as not in the labor force. Okay, number 2. Unemployed, to be counted as unemployed. A person must be waiting to be called back for a job. And number 3, waiting to start a new job. Within 4 weeks or 30 days. So in order to be counted as unemployed, you must be without a job and do an effort to find a job, or waiting to be called back to a job, or waiting to start a new job within 4 weeks or 30 days. So if you know that total population is 120, and 20 of them are others. From the working age group, 10 not in the labor force. Of the labor force are employed. If you would like to find the missing values, so we have to calculate the working age, labor force, and the number of unemployed people. Total population is divided between working age and others. If you know that total population is 120 and others is 20, so working age is 100, which is the difference between total population and others. Working age is classified into labor force and not in the labor force. So in order to find labor force, we are going to subtract not in the labor force from working age group. It's going to be 100 minus 10, which is 90. Labor force is divided into employed and unemployed. Number of employed people is 80 out of 90, so number of unemployed is 10. Now we are going to use these numbers in order to calculate three main labor market indicators. Number one, unemployment rate. Unemployment rate is calculated as number unemployed divided by labor force multiplied by. So unemployment rate is calculated as number unemployed divided by labor force multiplied by 100. So returning back to our example, it will be 90 and 10. Unemployed 10, labor force 90. So it's 10 divided by 90 multiplied by 100. So unemployment rate will be 11.11%. This means that 11% of labor force are unemployed people. Indicator number 2. The employment to population ratio. So it's employment. So So it will be calculated as number employed, employed, okay, divided by working age group multiplied by 100. So returning back to our example, it will be working age is 100, number is 80, multiplied by 100, so it will be 80%, which means that 80% of the working age group are employed. Indicator number 3. Labor force participation ratio. It's calculated as labor force divided by working age multiplied by 100. So it's labor force, it's calculated as labor force divided by working age group. Returning back to our example, it will be labor force is 90, working age group is 100, multiplied by 100, so it's 90%. What are the different types of unemployment? There are 3 main types of unemployment. Number 1, fractional unemployment. Number 2, structural unemployment. And number 3, cyclical unemployment. With respect to number 1, fractional unemployment. Fractional unemployment arises from normal labor market turnover. Which means that you would like to find a better job. So you are going to leave your job right now in order to find a better position or better salary. So this is a normal labor market turnover. It's a permanent and healthy phenomenon. So it's not a problem to have fractional unemployment. Number 2, structural unemployment. Structural unemployment is unemployment created by changes in technology. Instead of depending on farmers, we are going to use machines. So farmers are going to be unemployed. Structural unemployment lasts longer than fractional. So with respect to its time period, it's gonna be much more greater than fractional unemployment. Number 3, cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment is related to business cycle. What's meant by business cycle? In an economy, the economy passes through number of stages or phases. This phase is known as business cycle. Okay, this is business cycles. Okay, this is cycle number 1. Cycle number 2. Okay, cycle number 3. So they are not equal to each other. Each cycle consists of or passes through 2 different phases and 2 turning points. Phase number 1. Real GDP is going to increase, and it's known as expansion. This is increase in real GDP, it's expansion. During expansion, production is going to increase, economic growth rate of the country is going to increase, so employment is going to increase and the unemployment rate is going to decrease. So there is no cyclical unemployment during this phase. Then we are going to reach the highest point in the cycle, this point, and this is turning point number 1, which is peak. After this point, real GDP is going to decrease. Okay, so peak is the highest point in the cycle. Then, as we said, real GDP is going to decrease, and this is known as recession. This is phase number 2, which is a recession. During recession, real GDP is going to decrease, and production is going to decrease as well. So we are not going to hire workers, and workers are going to be laid off. So unemployment rate is going to increase. And this is cyclical unemployment. So cyclical unemployment occurs during recession, when the economy is at recession. During recession, workers are going to be laid off, and during expansion, we are going to rehire these workers again. Now we are going to move on to another turning point, which is the lowest point in the cycle, which is tough. After this point, the economy is going to recover again, and real GDP is going to increase, so the economy will be at expansion. Okay, so this is the first cycle. Expansion, peak, recession, tough. Then we are going to move on to another cycle. Expansion, peak, recession, tough. Expansion, peak, and so on. So, as we said, there are three different types of unemployment: fractional, structural, and cyclical. Cyclical will last longer than structural. Structural will last longer than fractional. What's natural rate of unemployment? Natural unemployment is unemployment that arises from fractional and structural. So, in other words, natural unemployment means no cyclical unemployment. So if you would like to calculate natural rate of unemployment, it's going to be calculated as summation of fractional and structural divided by labor force multiplied by 100. What's full employment in the economy? Do you think full employment means that there is zero unemployment rate? Actually, no. Full employment means that cyclical unemployment equals zero. Which means unemployment rates equals natural rate of unemployment. Okay, so to sum up, first we classified population into working age and others. Working age is classified into labor force and not in the labor force. Labor force is classified into employed and unemployed. Then we have calculated three different labor market indicators, which are unemployment rate, labor force participation ratio, and employment to population ratio. Then we talked about the three different types of unemployment, which are fractional, structural, and cyclical. Then we defined natural rate of unemployment, and finally the definition of full employment rate. This is the end of our lecture today. Thank you.